Dorothy said, there's no place like home. Yeah, I wish I had some red. I had pink sneakers, but they're not quite the same as the red slippers. So anyway, we've got the green shoes on tonight. But apart from home being, yeah, there's no place like home, it is actually the most powerful place. And it's not so much powerful in our lives because it's the sanctuary, somewhere to sleep, refuge. It's actually the container of our life. It shapes our life, it creates our life. And the life that we had comes from the home that we're in. And I learned that. I didn't have any understanding of that. I just had a home. I was actually, in my time, I renovated a few homes. So I got present to, working with a home, wallpapering. I don't think people wallpaper anymore, but I did wallpapered in my time. And other things. And I came to understand the power of a home in the early 90s after a big breakdown. And I was kind of inviting into my life the new me, new thoughts, please. I was attracting them in. And I came across somebody talking about feng shui at the East-West Centre, which Nick will know. And I went along there and I met somebody called William Spear, who was about the only expert there was in feng shui coming to the UK. And it completely bowled me away, the idea that I could do something in my home and it would affect me. Because I was ill for a while, and a nutritionist I was working with said, we've tried everything, and I think where we're at now is that there could be something in your house that's affecting you. And I thought she was nuts. I said to her, mad. And she was talking about something called geopathic stress, negative energies in the house. So I kind of opened up. This is so new for me. I opened up and I went to a weekend with Bill, and I came away thinking, oh my God, if I can move my sofa and move my furniture around and have a new life, this is brilliant. So I got Bill in on the Monday, and we went through my office and through my house, which I'd just furnished, and I made notes, and I started to use it, and I had change. And of course, I really wanted to work with it, and I kind of in my life shift, I put my attention into it. This is how I came to create a school. There were very few experts, so I found them. They were kind of all over the world. And I remember a dinner at my house in London one night when I had a feng shui person from London, Simon Brown, you'll know, somebody from Australia. I had John Lennon's astrologer, Takashi Yoshikawa, and Boy George. Talk about an eclectic group of people. But he was into macrobiotics at the time and, food energy. And that was the beginning of my school, and they really wanted to support me in bringing a new conversation and a modern conversation about homes rather than a Chinese conversation about how feng shui relates. So that's how I started out, playing with it and making it work. And then I remember... I wrote a book, school, 20 years go by, 25 years. And again, I'd been at various crossroads, and I was at another crossroads point where I really needed, I kind of said to myself, I need a new life. I need beyond a new chapter. Have you ever felt in that place where you crave not just a new job, but completely new? And didn't want to discard everything, but I knew, in the desire to move forward, I looked around at the container that I was in, and I was in two containers because I had a house in London, which I'd had for years, and over the time, not being able to live full-time in London, needing to escape, I ended up with a house in Yorkshire, which I shared with a partner. And it was interesting that I learned a lot of feng shui from having those two houses, because your home is a mirror. And what I learned was, if something happened in one house, the same thing happened in the other. Exactly the same. So a washing machine would break down in one house. The washing machine would break down in the other house. The boiler broke in one house. I'd go down to London, the boiler would break. I'm in Yorkshire, I'm in bed, get a call from London, there's no water. As my partner's speaking to me, I heard the pump break, the water pump break in the house in Yorkshire. So it's unbelievable. And then the car broke. We had a blue Volkswagen in London and a blue Volkswagen in Yorkshire, and they both broke down at the same time. Unbelievable. And so when I had a phone call from a policeman in London to say, Gina Lazenby? Yep. I'm at your house in London. I've just broken in. In fact, I've broken in because your house has been broken into, and I'm ringing you to see whether you'd like me to secure your house. I said, yes, please. So somebody tried to break into my house, axed the door. And I'm about to leave Yorkshire and go down to London for a week, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be broken into. So I had to make a phone call to the police to say, I'm going... You're not going to believe this, but it sounds crazy, but... And I told her the story, and do you know what? A policeman, they wouldn't do it now, but a policeman came around and spent 2 hours going through my house with me, telling me where I was vulnerable, don't have a ladder outside, do this, took my storage disks, backup computers down to London with me, went down to London, did the Christmas party or whatever, because this was December, came back, walked through the house, the house seemed fine, got to the kitchen where I have a glass door, and I noticed halfway up the glass there's all these sticky marks. So I went outside and I turned back to this ivy-clad cottage, which didn't have any ivy on anymore, up to this point. So up from here was ivy, and below, no ivy. It had been eaten by somebody that had broken in. So we had been broken into, but not by humans. We'd been broken into by sheep. So now, the thing about this is, like, what does each one of those things mean? And there isn't a pat answer. Like, if you get broken into by sheep, what it means is, there's no feng shui book that you could write that would give you these pat answers. But what, in that case, I had to do was I had to look at my borders had been violated. You know, my boundary lines had been broken. And I had to say, okay, I had to look at my financial boundaries and the boundaries in my work to see what was at risk, because my house is always giving me a message. And as I say, I really learnt that by having 2 houses and them happen rather than just something happen. If your washing machine breaks, maybe it's just the washing machine, like, you know, that whole thing about sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. You know, the guy who said that, psychiatrist or whatever. So sometimes it is what it is, but a lot of times you have to look and see. So there's I would say there are 3 key things that I have boiled down. I actually brought a picture here. I'm going to get it out of my little IKEA bag. Are you going to tell me when 10 minutes is up? Because tell me when 9 minutes is up, and then I'll... So, no, I got it, yeah. Not very tidy, but anyway. Home is where your new story begins. And I'm writing about this, and I go out and I see it in a shop. I've never seen anything. I thought, wow, that's absolutely so right. So when I wanted to make my life shift, 2014, I decided, I think I was telling you about the 2 houses, I decided I would move out of both of them and move into the right house for the next life, even though I didn't know what the life would be. So if you do want to make a life change, it's not necessarily about moving house, because you don't have to leave here tonight and put your house on the market, or your flat, or move out, whatever. It's about looking at the container that you have and saying, is it appropriate? Is it supporting what I have now? And is it supporting me, the new me? If I'm moving forward and creating a new life and changing who I am, and I want to change, and I want to evolve and grow and to be something else and start this new chapter, new book, is this the right home? And what do I need to change about it? So for me, having a long period of time in these 2 houses, not wanting to be in the country all the time, not wanting to be in the city and traveling overseas, I needed to move somewhere where I had one base, one foundation for the new place to create that new story. If, you know, the home is the story. 9 minutes. Right, okay, 1 minute. So if you look around your house and see how it is supporting you and have a tune into who you want to be, and that's what I've been doing with my new home, and I was going to give you those 3 things. Firstly, your home is full of images that speak to your unconscious. So all your art is important because it's always talking to you, because it's speaking to your unconscious mind. We know the power of the words, but do not forget the power of the images and what you've got in your art. What is it saying to you? If you've got lots of single people and you're single, you know, get to picture of 2 swans. Secondly, all people. Secondly, patterns repeating. You know, I talked about the things happening too. There's always patterns. You see cracks and splits everywhere. You can see there's a separation energy. Look and see what is repeating. The third thing is fill your house with love. literally fill it with love. That's what I've done with my houses, and it makes them feel peaceful and happy and loving, because I've put the intention of that into everything that's in there. You can feel it. The plants can feel it. My plants grow amazingly. All my cuttings, because they're full of joy and love in the house, and they can feel it. And I think that is the end. That's my wisdom shared for 10 minutes, 11 minutes.